Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture on the concept interpretation of notices. This concept is prescribed in the syllabus of 4th semester BA, BCom, BSc, BSW, BCA English Language subject. The paper is Compulsory Foundation Course in English in Mangalore University. I welcome you all to today's session. Yes, before going to the discussion of interpretation of notices, let us look at the concept composition because the concept interpretation of notices is there in the unit B of the syllabus, that is composition. So the word composition makes you very clear from the very literal meaning of it that to form something. When you look at some dictionaries, for example, Merriam-Webster's defines it as a product of mixing or combining various elements or ingredients, which means anything that you create out of combining various elements or ingredients that becomes a composition. For example, a curry that you prepare is a composition in this sense. But when we come to the literature or language background or language field, composition is an intellectual creation. For example, a piece of writing, it requires a meaningful arrangement of sentences. So when come to the concept prescribed in your syllabus or even the study of composition or teaching of composition in schools and colleges, the concept is a short piece of writing done as a part of school exercise. So here in this sense the concept composition is used. It means whatever you compose in writing, create in writing, that becomes a composition. You have been attending questions of composition for ages, I can say so, because since from your earlier classes you have been attending the questions of composing essays, letters, paragraphs, a variety of things ranging from creative writing to formal writings. So composition is just part and parcel of your syllabus for in all the classes that you have studied so far. When come to Oxford Dictionary's definition, it says composition is the way something whole or a mixture is made up. So here it is clear that the way something whole or a mixture is made up, that means the appearance of the composition as the whole or the mixture matters here. Yes, it is in this context, that means the way you create the whole writing that decides the merit of your writing. So therefore in a composition, what you have to do, you have to use several ideas and then you ultimately put them together in an order. That order is sufficient or good enough to a reader to understand the passage or the idea or the argument. That's how a composition is made, a meaningful and systematic arrangement of sentences that based on your ideas. Yeah, let's move ahead. See, interpretation of notices. It is one type of composition. There are varieties, I told you in the beginning. Similarly, interpretation of notices is a type. What is interpretation? There are two terms here you can observe. Interpretation, as you know, is an action. It's an act of explaining the meaning of something. So there are so many other associated meanings, connotations for interpretation. It denotes also in number of ways. It denotes meanings in number of ways. See, look at the action of explaining the meaning of something. When you can explain the meaning of something, that means when you can understand something, then you can explain it, reframing the sentence. The process of interpretation here is nothing but understanding the given topic and reframing it into your own sentences and explaining. Reframing your sentences and explaining. Say the word interpretation actually has a lot of other meanings also. Say for example in literature, or a literary criticism. Interpretation is the appreciation of a work, a critical appreciation of a work or literary appreciation of a work. But when come to the concept of translation, for example, if you go to some country where you cannot communicate in their language, you need a interpreter. That means a translator to translate your language into somebody. So that's how you see interpretation has many meaning. But in the context here is that it's an act of explaining the meaning of something, a topic given to you. The given topic here has to be explained in two sentences only. So please remember, you have to explain it in not more than three sentences, 2 to 3 sentences only. That's enough, right? Why? Because the weightage of marks in the exam is also the same, right? That is 2 marks for interpretation of notices, as you see in your syllabus guidelines. On the other hand, what do you have to do here? You should make it clear that what does it say? That means the meaning of the statement can be explained in the first sentence. Then the second thing is, where do you find a particular topic? That you have to explain. See, for example, the second sentence says the place where you find it, or the notice where it is there. Yeah, look at the word notice also. It is not about any formal notice displayed on college notice board. The word notice here is used in its literal sense. That means to see or to observe. Whatever you see or observe in the society, some signs that you see and observe, SIGNS signs that you see in the society, they are the things that you notice. For example, you see no smoking, no parking, silent please, walk on pavement, variety of signs in your society wherever you go. There you look at that and you understand that in one way, and then you interpret it in your mind. Here you bring it into a sentence. Therefore, the act of interpretation of notice, or the task that you have to do here, is explain the meaning of the sentence in one sentence, that is the first sentence, and in the second sentence you should say where that particular topic is found. Yeah, let's go to some examples. You see interpretation of notices with examples here. We have got no smoking, no parking as an example. I have a symbol. You can see the symbol is also there here. So sometimes it is written as no parking only. So how do you interpret the meaning? See, you say this notice prohibits us from parking vehicles in that particular area. Or you can also elaborate it as this notice informs the motorists that not to park their vehicles in a particular area. So like that you can explain it. That is the meaning of the phrase, the sign, that is no parking. So, and then you have to write here the place where it is found. This notice is usually found. Very important to observe the word usually, right? Not always. Sometimes, usually, generally it is found on the compound walls and on the gates of public as well as private buildings. You have made it clear the places where it is found, and in the first sentence you describe or you explain the meaning of the concept, topic, no parking. When come to the second example, you see beware of dogs. This notice you should explain beware of. You have come across that, right? Most often people display beware of dogs when they are not there in the home. It doesn't mean only when there is no dog. I'm sorry, just for a joke I can tell you that sometimes people just put the board beware of dogs. You can see the image here where it is displayed on the gate. Anyhow, what do you have to do here? This notice warns us to be careful while entering a compound or apartment because of the presence of a fierce dog or a ferocious dog. Fears that causes you fear, dangerous, right? So before entering into it, it's a warning to a thief also. It's a warning to thieves also. That is also there in your guidelines circulated by your teachers association. You see, the notice warns us to be careful while entering into the compound or apartment is the meaning here. You're telling here what does it mean. Then You mentioned the place here. We usually find this notice on the gates of houses or the doors of apartments. So it's clear now that first sentence describes, or I can particularly say, the explains the meaning of the notice, and in the second sentence you make it clear that where it is found. Yeah. So when you observe this, I have added one more thing here, that generally these notices topics are of four types. See, information, instruction, prohibition, and warning. Information means they give information to us. They inform us about what and how something is. For example, look at this: work in progress, a wet paint, school zone. In all these, you come to know about that there is some work going on in some place. That is the information you come to know about. Wet paint, when you look at the wall that has just been painted, you cannot come to know that it has just been painted. You may go and touch it, but the board, wet paint, the notice wet paint can make you clear that it is wet. It doesn't instruct you what to do or what not to do, but it just gives you information, and by that you know what to do on your own. It is understood. So then the instructions, they instruct you. Inform ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋದು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟ್, ಸೂಚನೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋದು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ in the sense it instructs us to do something. For example, switch off your mobile phones. Right here it instructs clearly that we should switch off our mobile phone ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ you have keep left. While driving, one should have to keep left ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು, right? Example. Then we have prohibition. Prohibition ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಪ್ರತಿಬಂಧಕ, ತಡೆಯುವಂಥದ್ದು, right? Stop something. So it prohibits us from doing something. ಏನನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ ಎಂದು ತಡೆಯುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ನೋ ಬಿಲ್ಸ್, ನೋ ಪಾರ್ಕಿಂಗ್, ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಪ್ಲಕ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್, right? Sometimes people pluck flowers in the garden. Do not pluck flowers. These are the examples, right? See, in all these cases, you see no, and not. Repetition. That is a prohibition word, right? It prohibits something. And the fourth I have noticed that we can see is warning signs or warning notices, like warn us about something. Prohibition, it prohibits from doing something, whereas warning is given here, right? It is dangerous. If you touch that or if you do that, then there is danger for you. For example, here, dangerous machinery. Sometimes you see it is placed in front of some machines. Then beware, danger. We had one beware of dog in the last slide. High voltage. That means it is just not information, but it is also danger, warning, right? Do not touch another, right? Anyhow, so like that, there are giveaways, an example of what kind of sign here: information or instruction or prohibition or warning. Yes, I think you have come to the answer. You got the answer that it is a instruction sign. Give way to people here, right? It's ಪೆಡಸ್ಟ್ರೈನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ದಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದಾಡುವವರು, ಅವರಿಗೆ ದಾರಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಜಾಗ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಎನಿಹೌ, ಸೊ ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್. These topics are already probably circulated by your teachers to you all. It is finalized in Teachers Association. So you see, stick no bills, work in progress, switch off your mobile phones, no horn please. I want you to go through these topics and identify them, which of them belong to information, which of them belong to instruction, prohibition, and warning. Because in the next session, I can give you some 4 basic sentences. How can you define? How can you describe them? Right? But still, you can go to your own flexibility and creativity for defining or describing or explaining them. Still, we can attempt one example for each type, that is information or instruction or prohibition or warning. See the number of there are 30 topics. If you want these topics to be downloaded in PDF form, I have attached this in the below link. You can see, click on the description below and you have a file there, right? So a file has been attached there, or you can also see here itself that the 30 topics. By pausing the video you can write down. Otherwise I think already these topics have been circulated uh, to you through your teachers. Anyhow, so there are 30 topics here: stick no bills, work in progress, switch off your mobiles, no horn please, school zone, drive slowly, trespassers are prosecuted. See, trespassers means people who enter without permission. Please shower before entering the pool, right? So you see the pool in the sense swimming pool here. Then again, fire exit, hairpin curve. You have that. For example, here hairpin curve ahead allied prohibited, right? So like that, you see no smoking. Then leave your footwear outside. Do not pluck flowers. Road work in progress. No admission without permission. Humps ahead. Drive slowly. Please do not litter. Litter means throw waste here and there, paper or something like that. Wrappers of chocolates and all that. Do not. Similarly, what is the solution for please do not litter? We have use me for that. Use stairs. Photography prohibited. No lifeguard on duty. Swim at your own risk. When you go for swimming, sometimes you see this. And one way, keep left is there here. One way information again. Keep left. City limits, drive slowly. Pedestrian crossing. Road closed. Wet floor, watch your step. Silence please, use me, buy one and get one free. No mask, no entry. Maintain social distancing. See, look at it is interesting to observe 279 and 20th is added for after COVID-19 breakout, right? Anyhow, all these topics are the likely topic for exam also. So please go through them and identify them as to which category they belong to: information or instruction or prohibition or warning. And we will discuss that in the next session, each one in detail. Thank you. So interpretation of notice is the act of explaining the meaning of the signs that we notice. It involves one's understanding of the topic and the skill of reframing the sentences on the same. So the sentences should be framed in only two. The first one should give the meaning, the second one should tell us the place where the notice is found. So generally there are four types of signs or topics that we notice for our that topics of notice for interpretation. Thank you for watching. See you in the next session.